That's not supposed to be glowing. That is corrosion on the top of our compressor right there. And I touched it to try and get it started, to try and figure out why my compressor wasn't running, and I heard it spark. Took the cap off. Yeah, that's going to catch a boat on fire. We're going to turn that off, let that cool. So, you can see in here, so we've got some burnt wires that go to this guy here. And so I need to take that apart and see if I can replace all those ends. So I'm going to have to call Mermaid Manufacturing tomorrow. I can replace these ends right here. But this piece, this little wire here, that's where it was catching fire. That piece goes to there. And so I'll see if they have another piece there. I'll put new ends on these, cut these wires back, make sure they're nice and clean. We've got extra wire here so we can work with it. I'll take steel wool, wire brushes, and clean up all the connections, get everything nice and clean. Put it all back together. It should be fine. This is our 4th air conditioner.
My air conditioner.
Yep. It hasn't worked for a while now because well, I don't know, something stopped. I think the compressor stopped running. Now that being said, it could be a wiring issue right here, just like the other one that I'm working on, and it could be fine. But we had a water maker pump go out, the one that feeds the high pressure pump. We had the low pressure pump go out. Well, this air conditioning unit has a pump that would work, and so we stole it from there. Ended up not working very good, and I had a spare air conditioner pump. So now I've got my spare air conditioner pump for my main 3 ACs running my water maker, and I've still got this pump available. So I'm going to see if I can figure out what the wiring issue is or where my problem is. And if I
fix it and give me AC tonight.
If it works, then I can grab that pump, reinstall it, and try and get cars some AC, right?
Because now that it's summer.
Oh, it's...
Oh, yeah.
You know, the wintertime...
I burn up going to the bathroom.
The wintertime in the Keys or the wintertime in the Bahamas, really I'd say probably 9 months out of the year. 9-10 months. If you're on anchor and you can turn into the wind, it's actually fine. No issues. But there are 2 months down here, 2, maybe 3 months, where it just doesn't blow. And tying up to a marina is the worst, because then you can't turn into the wind. So even if there is a little bit of wind, but you want to be tied to a marina, because if you're not and there's a hurricane, then you can't get into a marina because they're all full. So I think the best way we found is to buckle down, pay the slip fee for 3 months, pay for the electricity bill for 3 months, and just run the ACs. But when we were in the Bahamas for 8 months, or we went, what, a year and a half between the Bahamas and living on anchor in the Keys, that we didn't run AC maybe 2 or 3 nights out of that year and a half with the generator running. Now when we did our cross Florida, we ran it every night. We ran the generator for like 5 days straight, because when you're inland in Florida, there's no wind, right? So anyway, this is stuff we've learned. So Carter's AC would click and then it would just nothing. Compressor won't come on. Everything looks fine. I just can't get anything to come on. So I don't know, but I've also seen they've already previously, they've cut into that, they've replaced switches. Like, that thing's already been cut up and like shade tree mechanic repaired. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the parts that are burned up on mine over here that is working off of his, because they're fine, and I'm going to swap them over. So at least right now I can get 3 ACs working, and then if I have to, I'll just replace that one. Carter, you want to go upstairs and grab that heat gun for me, please? Thank you. Well, that worked. That worked perfect. So I'm just put my cover back on, and we have 3 working ACs now. Just got to figure that one out later.
Good.
Sorry, I'm trying to lift.
You're good. Got us a old used air conditioner from a friend of ours. We're gonna replace the one that went out in Carter's room.
Step down.
You shut that back door, Caleb.
Step down.
Case, what are you doing?
Filling water. Filling my water bottle. I really want that.
Alright, so we've got our drain hose in there, which will connect right here. We've got our in and out hose, which go in and out right there. Let's see if we can. Got it. Let go. Let go. Move your head out the way. Run it back in. There we go. In and out on that side.
Out. Yeah.
You're not wrong. I very well may need more hose. That's fine. That's fine. This is the in.
Yeah. This is water out with an arrow pointing out.
So we will connect those, and we'll put our ground. And then when the thermostat tells this to activate, this will click on and it'll turn on the power to the unit, and it'll also send a signal to the pump and power to the pump to turn it on. So it all comes, so this is a control for everything.
You sure this is correct? The black stays black and white turns into red. Air conditioning on.
Hole in the floor.
Done. Carter, there's a hole in the floor. I know that.
Flashlight.
Right here. It's right there.
I need to go outside and see if there's water pumping.
Oh.
Oh, it feels colder.
Yeah, pressure's not on yet.
For troubleshooting, the first thing you do is you check the power for things that aren't working right, just to see if it's either not turning on or if the power's not the problem, then it's the thing that's the problem.
This fuse right here wasn't secure, and that's a compressor fuse, so it's secure now. Okay, Carter, go ahead and turn power back on.
Back on?
Yep, on the switch.
Power on.
Good morning, everybody. It is, I think it's Friday. Happy Friday. I have kind of a unique opportunity this week in order to be able to talk about air conditioning. For those of you that have always wanted to know, how do we cool our boat? How does air conditioning work? How does it maintain? How do you maintain it? What do you got to do? This video is for you, okay? To start with, we have 4 air conditioners on our boat. This would be one, that's another one, and we have 4 of them. Our big one is 16,000 BTUs. The other 3, I believe, are 9,000 BTUs each. They work, they're called marine air conditioners. And what that means is they suck ocean water for cooling, exchange the heat in the boat into the air conditioning, into the seawater, and then the seawater comes back out warmer. And that's how we get air conditioning. When we're on anchor, we don't use it a whole lot. We went like over a year without using air conditioning because when you're on anchor, our hatch opens up in the front and we're able to pivot with the wind, and so it's always coming down the boat. You open the front hatch, you open the back hatch, you have a very nice breeze. And when you're at anchor, you're away from bugs. Now, right now we're in a marina. Marinas are not conducive to having the hatches open. You have bugs. You don't have a breeze. Speaking of bugs, John, you got a bug right there.
Funny.
So it's not very conducive to having your hatches open, so you run your air conditioners a lot. Well, we have 4 air conditioners and 2 of them have broken. And I was gifted a new air conditioner from a buddy of ours who changed out some air conditioners with different styles, and he didn't need it, so it was not needed. This is a 9,000 BTU unit. The manufacturer on this is a Mermaid manufacturing. This is also a 9,000 BTU unit. It is a Marine Air, and they're just different. Honestly, they're very similar, but just different manufacturers. This is not a here's the best manufacturer, here's the best air conditioning system. There's Dometic, there's Marine Air, there's Mermaid Manufacturing, there's probably another half a dozen more brands. And honestly, they're all pretty similar. Your difference is going to be in your materials. Some are better built with better materials, some are cheaper built. I've installed Dometics on people's boats. I think there's a Marine Air. So I installed Marine Airs, newer Marine Airs. This is an older Marine Air on another person's boat. I have, all of my boat came with the Mermaid, and honestly, I've been relatively happy with them. They've just worked. This particular unit is from July of 2004. So how old is that? That's is that 18 years old? So this is the 18-year-old unit, and it's still in the boat, and it was working up until a couple weeks ago. That's not bad. Not bad at all. So the way that works is you have water comes in through the bottom of your boat through a ball valve, we call them a seacock, and it comes up and it goes into this right here. This is a filter. This is inside of here. You take this top off and there's a canister inside, and that's your filter. Water flows through one side and out the other. When it goes in here, any like seaweed or anything that is in the water will get strained out and it stays in there. And then it goes to the pump. This pump has then sucked that water from the ocean through there into the pump. And then that seawater will go in one side, out the other, and it goes right here. I don't know if you can see this, but this right here says water in. Water circulates through this, then it goes water out, goes back in the boat, back in the ocean. Okay? So that's the raw water side of this. This is the compressor, and inside here you've got Freon. If you look over here, this looks like a radiator, right, on a car? Well, that's what this looks like back here as well. So what's inside of there is you've got Freon moving through this, and when you turn on the air conditioner, you hear the fan, it sucks air through this radiator, through this part right here. Water comes, or air comes across that, and the hot air in the boat flows over. If you can see these are the tubes. So inside of that, it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You see that right there? And it flows back and forth and back and forth and over. So what you're doing is the Freon inside the system takes the heat out of the air and puts it into the Freon, and it takes the air the heat from the air to the Freon. And then at that point, the air, which is now cooler, comes into this. This is just a big hamster wheel. Inside here, there's a fan, and it's spinning, and it blows the cold air back out here into your boat. Okay. The problem is now you've got hot Freon. Lose that. Stay. Now you've got hot Freon, and you have to get rid of that heat somewhere. So then that Freon comes through these tubes into this piece here, where you've got that raw water circulating, and it transfers the heat from the Freon to the raw water, and then goes overboard. So hot air to Freon, hot Freon to water. Now you've got cold ocean water becomes hot ocean water, exits your boat. So I hope that's a very rudimentary way of how this works, but that is basically how it works. What's great about these systems is they're sealed systems, okay? They're sealed with Freon. Unless you have a leak, something that corroded or broke or has a some reason to leak the Freon, you don't have to service that. You can recharge it. They have recharging ports here, and you can recharge it, but that's only if there's a leak. There's no reason for it to leak. The way you maintain these is airflow and water flow. So normally, if you can see this one right here, in front of this, you would put a filter, and it's just you can buy them at marine stores or Ace Hardware. Down here in the Keys, they all carry them. You cut a piece, you put it right over the top. It's very, very like your air filter on your home HVAC, right? Air comes in, it collects the dust before it goes through there. The reason is you want to keep these fins clear of dust and debris so that they have airflow, free airflow. And so the air can move through there freely and exchange the heat into the Freon. If that gets clogged, that's when you get these machines that ice over. This part here where the Freon is, it ices over. And that's because you have poor air circulation. The way you fix that, you get in here, you change your air filter. You can even take a shop vac and vacuum out these fins or rinse them out if you need to. Make sure it's nice and clear. And then you got to let it thaw out, and then you can restart it. So now this has raw water in it from the ocean. Came in through here, went through the pump, and then it's circulating through here and it's back out. Now the hose that comes into here and out of here on my boat is like 15 to 25 feet long. It's not a short hose. So all of that hose also has raw water in it. Anywhere where you have ocean water or raw water, you have the opportunity for marine growth. And that is our biggest battle with marine ACs. In the summer in the Keys is the worst. As the water temperature comes up, the marine growth gets worse and it clogs the system. Okay? The way you would normally clean out this, what the heck are these called?
Filters.
Sea strainer. Thank you.
Sea strainers.
So these sea strainers here, you take that lid off, you pull the canister out, you dump them out, but they still can have hard growth. And you can clean them with a brush, with a hose. You can also soak them in acid. You can use muriatic acid, or you can use a product like this called Barnacle Buster. Barnacle Buster is a muriatic acid. It's mellowed out. It's got some other stuff to make it marine friendly, so you can discharge it overboard, and it won't hurt the ocean. Eventually, you're going to have to clean this whole system. These get growth in here, and these hoses get growth inside of it, and so you got to flush the whole thing. We find that, and if we're in a marina consistently, we have to do it usually once a year. If it's a really bad marina in the summer, and you have really bad growth, I've had marinas that I've been in where I had to do it almost every 4 to 6 weeks. But then you get into the winter time, and you got to do it less and less. We cruised the Bahamas and we didn't have to clean these for like a year and a half, right? It was great. And that's just because their water's so clean and the temperature is cooler, right? But the way we do that is we take this Barnacle Buster. You put 1 gallon into a 5-gallon bucket with like 3.5 to 4 gallons of water. At that point, you take this nifty tool, which fell off here. This end right here goes into the bucket, and this end right here goes in like this, and it goes down into this sea strainer. Okay. You then have to make sure there's no air in this system. Make sure it's all flooded with water or Barnacle Buster, and you turn on your pump, which then sucks, and you'll close your ball valve, so you're not sucking out water from the ocean, but when you turn on your pump, you're sucking out the acid from the 5-gallon bucket. And what that does is it goes in here, and it goes through all your systems, and then once it sucks through, you'll see it discharge overboard. It'll be bubbly and purple. At that point, you turn it off. You turn that pump off, you let it sit. Muriatic acid and Barnacle Buster, what they do is I'll sit down. What they do is they eat organic material. So all of the shells and the sea growth and everything that gets up into these, Caleb, shut the door. What gets up into these is all the mussels and stuff, and that's what clogs it. And inside of here, you've got these little tiny tubes and stuff, and they doesn't take much to clog them. So water flow and airflow. Those are the two things that you can maintain on your marine air conditioning system, okay? Vacuum them, make sure they're clean, make sure the air is clean, make sure you have good water flow. Now, once you've done doing the Barnacle Buster or the acid flush, at that point you just open your ball valve, your sea cock, you go ahead and turn it on again, and it'll all come out. It's amazing how black the water is that comes out from all the dissolved growth. And we did it just the other night, and oh my goodness, we got cold that night. What a difference it made. So you got to make sure these stay clean. We have cats, so we get all kinds of cat hair and stuff, just dust. vacuum them out, clean them, keep these as clean as possible. These vents right up in here, these make a big difference. And then make sure you're cleaning this on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, making sure that any big chunks get out. And then when you notice it starting to grow and getting really crusty in there, it's time for an acid flush. You don't want to do it too often, but you got to do it enough to keep it working. It's just part of the system. If you have any questions about these or anything like that, feel free to drop us a message or shoot us a comment. They're pretty basic and simple. I make this video just basically so you can be demystified, right? The compressor turns on and moves the freon, and then this fan is just a fan that blows the air through. Other than that, it's pretty simple. You can do this kind of maintenance yourself, but you just need to have a basic understanding of how to work with 12 volt and with 110 wiring, depending on what kind of system you have.
What's the beer, or why is it there?
That's my backup. I'm finishing this can, and then I'll get into that can.
That's not
But
part
that
of
is
the installation process.
That's not, well, when I'm working, it's definitely part of the installation process. That's our favorite, or my favorite beer from the Florida Keys Brewing down here. It's their Spearfish Amber. It's really, really good. But I hope this kind of helps you understand and get a basic picture of what you're dealing with a marine air conditioner. You know what? There is one other thing I want to mention. Water temperature in the ocean makes a big deal. In the summertime here in the Florida Keys, I can get water almost as warm as 90 degrees. Well, if it's 100 degrees out and the water temperature is 90, I've only got a 10-degree difference between the temperature of the water and the temperature of the air. So there's not a lot of difference there, aka they become less efficient. If you've got colder water, then you can transfer more heat over to it and the air conditioner will become more efficient. So I've had multiple people this week walk up to me, hey, you live on a boat, don't you? Yeah. My air conditioner is doing blah, 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 blah. A lot of it's just warm water right now. In the summertime, when you want it the most, is when this stuff is honestly the least efficient. So keeping it clear of marine growth and keeping it free of dust and particles, that's the best thing you can do to help it be as efficient as possible, because you don't have any control over the temperature of water that's going through it from the ocean. I hope this video was helpful for you. Like I said, I didn't get into super duper depth. Carter, and the reason this happened is Carter's air conditioner went out. This was his that went out, and this was our friends that gave it, and so we're going to swap them in, and we might show a little bit of that install, but I just wanted to take this opportunity while I had all these pieces laid out to kind of demystify what a marine air conditioner is. So for those of you that have done a lot of boat projects, this is something you can also tackle. Again, you need to be confident in your 110 wiring along with your 12 volt wiring so you understand how to wire stuff up. If you can do that, the rest of this is hose clamps and securing ductwork. It's really not that difficult. So thanks again for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Subscribe, like, share with your friends, and always remember, guys, no matter how hot it gets and how miserable you are, enjoy the journey. Real quick, guys, make sure and check out the description below. I've got links for a couple of the different specialty products that I mentioned in this video. The funnel thing is called a Sea Flush. I've got that link down below. And then not all barnacle buster is made the same. I buy mine off Amazon. I get 4 1-gallon jugs. I find it to be better and stronger than the stuff you get at some of the stores in town. So check on those links. Thanks again for watching.
It just hurts, like,
Not like a
my
broken
right wrist hurts from just slamming into the ground. My right leg hurts because I went down into the bilge and
So this bilge hole was open because we were working down there. Carter went to get the pump, come back down, was walking into the room, gonna set it down and just stepped down into it without even realizing it. I come down here, he's laid flat on the floor, can barely breathe.
Mom always says hole in the floor. At first Carter thought it was annoying.
Ouch!
Until then. So
I'm like,
and I didn't say we, I said Carter. Because I found a way to annoy Mom with the same thing. I just tell her hole in the floor over and over and over and over.
But when Mom's here and I say hole in the floor like 20 times, nobody gets hurt. So I was out riding bikes with Caleb and I come back and Carter's bruised and injured.
this bruise is from it just when I went down in the hole. My right leg went down under and in, and this part right here is what hit the edge of the hole, and that's why it's bruised, as well as my foot's bruised, because the first thing I thought of was I do not want to touch that nasty bilge water. So I flicked my leg up and hit the top of the hole. So I hit the hole twice.